So things have been looking rough at Square Enix recently. The sales for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth were much lower than expected, despite what I thought was a great RPG. Well, now it looks like the recent struggles at Square Enix have caused them to change their strategy when it comes to exclusivity, and by change, I mean abandon it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So we knew something was up at the company back on April 30th when they released this statement titled Notification of Recognition of Extraordinary Loss. Now what an extraordinary loss is it's a loss that's not generated from ordinary business operations. So this doesn't mean that it's just like a really high amount, it's just something that's not normal. So what was this extraordinary loss? Well, we can see it from the letter here. It says, at the meeting convened on March 27th, 2024, the board of directors of Square Enix voted in light of the myriad changes underway in the environment surrounding its group to reverse the group's approach to development of high-definition games, with the intention of being more selective and focused in the allocation of development resources. And here comes the important part. As a result of a close examination of the group's development pipeline undertaken in keeping with this revised approach, the company expects to recognize approximately 22.1 billion yen, which is about $141 million, in content abandonment losses on its books for the fiscal year ended March 2024. So basically Square Enix abandoned these games that they were working on, and that brings us to today when we have Square Enix releasing their financial briefing for fiscal year of 2024. Now this ended back in March, and on this report they describe the reason for the cancellation of these various projects. Now from the brief here it says, a project-by-project review of continued development feasibility found these particular efforts to be incompatible with the group's revised approach to the development of high-definition games, which reflects such objectives as multi-platform development and the strengthening of internal development capabilities. So yes, you've heard that right, Square Enix is going to focus on going multi-platform, and here is that announcement in that same briefing. For HD titles, the group will aggressively pursue a multi-platform strategy that includes Nintendo platforms, PlayStation, Xbox, and PCs. Especially in regards to major franchises and AAA titles, including catalog titles, it will build an environment where more customers can enjoy our titles. And then they also go on to add that they'll be doing some more mobile games, and they'll probably release those on PC as well. So there you have it. Square Enix will continue to put games on PlayStation, where they pretty much put most everything they release. And then over on the PC, it seems like it usually gets a delayed release of some of these games. However, Square Enix will now be looking to put more of their games on Nintendo platforms, which I'm guessing is most likely the Switch 2 for their AAA titles, and also on Xbox, where their releases seem to be hit or miss. I think we don't get most of the mainline Final Fantasy games over on Xbox. But if you remember back in July, Phil Spencer went out on stage at Final Fantasy XIV Fan Festival to announce Final Fantasy XIV coming to Xbox. And there it was also announced that we can expect other Final Fantasy games on Xbox in the near future. So it definitely looks like that partnership is starting to strengthen there, and who knows, maybe we might see Final Fantasy XVII on Xbox. And back over on the PC side of things, it is worth noting that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was announced as a PlayStation exclusive for only 3 months. Now those 3 months will be over on May 30th, so I would not be surprised to see a PC version get announced before the end of the month. Now, they may actually still be working on the game, so I don't exactly expect the game to shadow drop on PC before the end of the month, but given their financial issues, I'm thinking Square Enix wants to have an announcement that'll make gamers excited. Now, do I think we will see Rebirth, or for that matter, Remake, over on Xbox, or say even the Switch 2? Well, I'm not too sure that'll happen anytime soon. It's all going to depend on what that exclusivity agreement between Sony and Square Enix was. I couldn't imagine a perpetual exclusivity. I would think maybe it might be like 3 or 5 years. But I think it would be pretty cool to see a Final Fantasy Remake trilogy get released on, say, the Switch 2, and you could play through it in portable mode. Now, all this bad information here leads us up to this report over on VGC, and it says Square Enix confirms US and EU layoffs as part of restructuring. And in this report by VGC, they say that an unconfirmed number of employees will be laid off in the next month. Now, this came at an internal staff meeting today. And from the report here it says, according to people who were in attendance, Square Enix president Takashi Kiryu said that both the company's American and European arms would be hit with layoffs, which will happen over the course of the next month. The scale of the layoffs wasn't shared, but staff were told that people working in publishing, IT, and Square Enix's collective indie games division would be predominantly affected. Those affected will be informed this week. In the UK, employees will enter into a 1-month consultancy period as per local employment law, while US-based staff could leave their roles before June. So definitely some sad news for a company that has some of my favorite IPs. You take games like the Bravely series with Bravely Default and Bravely Default 2, Dragon Quest, Octopath Traveler, and obviously the Final Fantasy series. But let me know your thoughts below. Do you think these cuts that they're making and this refocus to be more multi-platform with what they release is enough to get Square Enix going in the right direction? Drop your comment below and let me know your thoughts. And if you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so. It really does help the channel out quite a bit. I want to thank you for watching and be good.